Hey everyone! So here we are, June 1st. I am not fully ready to give up May. Womp womp. I was really hoping to spend more time outside. I told you guys just how excited I was that May is here and it's time to spend time in nature. And I feel like the weather had entirely different plans. And so I've been a little bit more like cabin fever, stuck inside more than I would like to be. But it did give me a chance to communicate more with my houseplants and listen to their needs and their wants and kind of work with them. And I do have to say that my ivy is much happier. It's much more full. There's new little starts coming off of it and it's looking good. So, maybe sometimes it's the silver lining, isn't it? Blessings in disguise, silver lining. But I still want to go outside and play. I still want to go outside and spend time in nature. There's just nothing that compares to bare feet in the soil and fresh air in the lungs. It really is just nothing compares to that. So did you guys choose to work with your moss agates or did you choose to work with petrified wood? Did you choose to do something else? Let me know in the comments below. I work with petrified wood quite a bit. It is a very close ally of mine. I love it dearly. And I feel like I didn't really work with moss agate that much. I've been drawn to moss agates so much. I love them. They're so pretty. They're kind of picturesque. Sometimes you can see all these different shapes or scenes in them. And I've always been drawn to them, but I've never really sat down and journeyed with one the way I did last week. So let me share with you guys my journey. The first thing I feel when I hold the moss agate is it's very cooling and it's very slow, grounding energy. And that's honestly really, really nice. It's been very, very helpful, and this was a healing journey for me. So it's less of an educational journey and more just sharing with you guys like the healing journey I got from it. So the first words I heard when I held this are ground and refresh, and that's really exactly what it feels like. It feels very grounding, very cooling, very calming and refreshing. And the first place I was brought to in my journey was back home. I felt like I was back home in the Pacific Northwest, in the forests of back home. It just felt like the air was a little bit cooler. It was a little bit more like moisture in the air, so I could feel that cool air in my lungs. And the mossy floor bed was kind of squishy. The mossy forest floor was kind of squishy. And so I laid down in the forest floor with the moss, and I could just feel the stress and the anxiety and some of the crappy things that I had been holding on to flow out and just release from me. And so that was very, very healing. I needed that very, very much, and it just was like a good just refresh. It felt to me like it was just recharging my energy, recharging my batteries. It feels to me like it's a little pocket of Pacific Northwest. It feels so, so nice. And, after this journey, I definitely have a greater appreciation for moss agate. There was one other part of the journey that I wanted to share with you guys is that after I had gotten up off the mossy floor bed of the forest, there was a well that was kind of presented there. And so I walked up to the well, and the words I heard from the well were, "Wash your face in the well of the forest for new vision." And what I felt from that was that it was kind of like, I washed my face in the water, and that was very refreshing and cooling. And it felt to me like it was like it kind of took away some of the pessimistic views of how May went for me. It almost was like it gave me fresh eyes to see things a little bit differently and to, again, look at the silver lining, the silver lining of the cloud, and to not to be like delusional, but to just not allow yourself to get stuck in a pessimistic point of view or get stuck in any negativity, but just to allow that to wash from you, get rid of it, and to look at things with fresh eyes. So that was the other part of the journey that was very, very helpful and healing for me. So that's it for my journey, you guys. It's moss agate, is like a little piece of the Pacific Northwest, and I will be keeping it in my pocket. It's kind of neat because it's like I think they call it a worry stone, when you see that like concaved shape, and people like rub their thumb on it like a worry stone. So it's like, okay, I can rub my thumb on it, and it's like a little piece of the Pacific Northwest. I can just chill, zen, get some Pacific Northwest vibes, and feel kind of recharged and refreshed. Yay! Always helpful, right? Sometimes there's no place like home. And so here we are, June 1st. It is time for our new subject, and this is going to be a subject that's going to be a little bit challenging for us, but I think it's a very important subject to work on. And I want to say, first off, be gentle with yourself this month and this subject, and always, if you need help, do not be afraid to call out to someone for help. Do not be afraid to ask. Our subject this month is pushing past barriers and fears for expansion. So this month we're going to be trying to remove fear that we hold on to for expansion, and that expansion is going to help us live more of our light, shine more of our light, live more of our truth, kind of live more of the authentic you that's not covered by shadow and fear and all these things. So that's why I say be gentle with yourself, because it can be a very difficult subject. Fear is such a huge part of being human. Sometimes it's our safety mechanism. You get fearful, you kind of get that flight or fight or freeze, and so it's a normal part of us. But some things some fears we hold on to that we just don't need to. Sometimes we have irrational fears that, may come from something that wasn't in this lifetime, could be past life, so on and so forth. So be gentle with yourself as you work with, moving through fear for expansion. And, like I've always said before, there's no wrong answers. It's all what is true for you, what your truth says, and what feels right for you. So our crystal for the month, you guys, is fluorite. And I know you guys have seen this fluorite before. If you have seen my learning and working with crystals video on fluorite, I can leave it right here if you guys want to see it. This is a beautiful crystal for releasing negative energy. And so I feel like this is the perfect ally for the month of June, working through fears for expansion. There's also one thing I wanted to share with you guys as well before I get into the week 1 subject. So I've been doing channeling since about 2014. Well, I've been doing channeling a little bit longer, but I haven't been sharing them so openly before 2014. And there's a few channelings that I have up on my website at greenlightmessages.com that I feel may be helpful for you with this month's subject of moving past fear for expansion. And the first one is changing the energy of anxiety and worry. The next one is pushing past barriers for expansion. And then the third one is bringing darkness to light. And bringing darkness to light as a 2-parter. I do work with Kuan Yin. She's a very, very beautiful, loving energy, and she is very, very helpful too in removing barriers of fear and bringing in more love into your life. So that one was very, very helpful as well. So you may find those helpful. Again, it's at greenlightmessages.com. The channelings that, I'll just say them one more time just in case. So changing the energy of anxiety and worry, pushing past barriers for expansion, and bringing darkness to light. So those are ones that may be helpful for you, maybe give you a jump start into this month of June and working through fear and pushing into expansion. The expansion of living our true light, our true self, our authentic part of who we are that doesn't get covered up by the crap that we hold on to and the fears that we have. So I know for me, it's going to be a little bit of a challenging month. Moving through fear, nobody really likes to, but you always feel better after you do. So it's an important thing to work on. And so the first week, the subject I wanted to bring up was, where are we holding fear in our body? So where is it in your body that you may be holding fear? And again, be gentle with yourself this month. And, if it's just too much right away, you always ease off and take things at your own pace. There's no wrong answer. That's why we have our journals. We can just let everything go in the journal. And you can, even if you wanted to, you could rip a page out and throw it in the fire and get rid of it. You know, there's no wrong answer. So I want to say a very common place that we do hold on to fear is our solar plexus. That's centered just below the breastbone area, and what does I want to call that? So the breastbone, your rib cage, all that area. And it's our power center. A lot of the times you'll see people, they'll hold their stomach or they'll rest their hands like that. And it's a way of protecting your power. And it's a kind of a common thing to protect your belly, to protect that sensitive part of you. So many people do hold fear in that center. So that is a place, if you kind of feel like you don't know where to start, check in with your solar plexus first. You may find that there's something in there that you can kick out that you don't need, so that you can kind of take more of your power, own more of your power. So that's it, you guys. You can always reach out to me anytime. You can reach out to me here by leaving comments below. You can reach me on my website. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter as well. I feel like social media is fun sometimes, but it's also very draining and sometimes annoying and sometimes frustrating. So, but I'm always checking at least once a day. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And if you do not have a fluorite, I do want to tell you it is a very common crystal. You do not necessarily have to have a fluorite in your possession to connect with it. Again, these crystals come out of the earth, and a lot of the time they are still in the earth somewhere. So when you go into meditation, you can kind of set that intention to connect with that crystal. If you do want to get one and you don't have a shop near you, Etsy is great. I have a friend named Kim, and she has a shop called Earthlight, and they do have like a Etsy shop where they sell crystals, and I know that she'll have some fluorite. IV22 Jean, I just bought a beautiful little citrine calcite from her. Thank you. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. And I did see that recently she put up some fluorite, so that's a wonderful place to go for it as well. You can also check eBay. What else? Enchanted Crystal. I've gotten some fluorites from the Enchanted Crystal guys before as well. So there's plenty of options over our magical internet to obtain a fluorite if you really want one. So lots of love. I do want to say to you guys, check out the video for the fluorite journey, because it is a crystal that is very sensitive in a way where if you don't cleanse it enough, it can kind of crack. I want to say it draws out negativity in a gentle way, and it draws it out gently, but it does a really good job at it, and so it needs to be cleansed a lot. So, but anyway, you can hear more about it in that video if you're interested. So lots of love. Thank you again for being here. I'm actually signing off now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.